Counterpoint?
I doubt these people can have the capability of creating a Mastodon server.
It's as easy as signing up for Twitter. Literally. It's $9 and it's set. It's good to go. You can log in and you're done right away. So yeah, people have that capability. And what are the grandkids for? The grandkids should be setting that up for Granny.
The grandkids could, yeah, but they're all jacked up about being on Facebook.
I'm just saying it for people who care. I know I'm blowing in the wind. I know.
You're blowing in the wind.
Do you remember 2010, because we talked about it on the show, the documentary Feathered Cocaine?
Sorry?
Yeah, there was a documentary in 2010, and we might not have discussed it until 2011 or 2012. When was Bin Laden killed?
Oh, originally or this last time, or... I don't think he's dead.
No, I mean,
which version of the story do you want me to say?
When Obama spiked the ball.
Obama, we never got to see anything. Nobody. They threw him out in the ocean. That one?
Yeah, May 2nd, 2011 is when he apparently was killed.
Yeah.
And around that time, there was a documentary, which I think was actually at I want to say it was at the Tribeca Film Festival, about this guy named Alan Parro, and you spell Parro like parrot with one T. And Alan Parro is an American, but I think he converted he's a Muslim, and for 20 years he worked for the extremely rich Arabs, and he is a falcon hunter and keeper. Now, falcons to many...
Called a falconer.
A falconer, that would be what he is. Falcons to many in the Middle East, certainly the rulers, are one of the most incredibly valuable things you can possess. They pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for them, some even up to $1 million or more for the perfect falcon. And this guy was originally protecting falcons, and then he kind of got into the business because there was a lot of money to be made, because the way it goes, an Arab sheikh or, a prince or something like that will never buy. You're not allowed to buy the falcon, because that's like the worst thing you can do, because it's such a perfect beast, such a perfect animal. So you actually pay the guy, the falconer, $1 million just for getting the bird. You see, it's one of those tricks. And this guy was very interesting, because I remembered then that he was, and I don't have any clips or anything going. I looked in the archives. I can't see anything. Maybe we didn't save those, because it was, only a few years into the show, that he claimed he knew Osama bin Laden was alive and in Iran. So, we talked about it. And of course, when you go back and look at the entire bin Laden killing, where indeed they, no pictures. Oh, well, hey, we dumped them in the water, and, sorry, we don't want to show any pictures because that could set off, people could get angry at us. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Although they will show every shaking kid and phony baloney gassed kid and with drool coming out of their mouth and all the rest. So show all that, or just dead children. They don't have a problem showing that, but they couldn't show this. Yeah. So
about a week and a half ago, this guy does a video chat, a Zoom call, with amongst two guys. One was one of the fathers of the Navy SEALs, who not only went into killed the so-called bin Laden, but then also all died in a helicopter crash in, I think, Afghanistan. SEAL Team 6. You remember that? It's like,
oh, yeah.
They went in, we didn't see a body, we spiked the ball, and those guys all died.
Well, they didn't. The funny thing is they didn't all die. And I don't even know if any of them died. That part of the story, to me, is even as flaky, or is at least as flaky as the whole story, because there were still two of them, two different SEALs that went on the road. I think they both wrote a book, and each of these two different guys claim they're the ones who shot bin Laden. Remember these two guys?
Yeah, I don't think these guys were even at the... It's kind of irrelevant. I don't want to relitigate the whole thing as far as I'm concerned. Bin Laden died in 2003 from kidney failure. So,
I think that's a valid position.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know nothing, to use my favorite.
We don't know nothing.
That's my favorite double negative. But I just want to give you the story as now is being retold again by Alan Parrow. And it starts off with him explaining the so-called Safari Club, which I never heard of the Safari Club, but it has a real wiki entry, and here's his explanation of what it is.
Well, the gestation, the beginning was in the 70s during the Church Commission, when an alternate CIA was created called the Safari Club. And the Safari Club was financed by overseas allies. It was outsourced to foreign banks. I have 2 banks and bank accounts that were used by the Safari Club and the individuals with checks paid out by them. Osama bin Laden was one of the recipients of funding from this alternate CIA that was subverting the oversight control of the successor to the Church Commission, and that is the Senate Intelligence Committee. 1 week before bin Laden was killed, I was called down to the Senate Intelligence Committee to give statements and evidence. And I have quite a few tape recordings and of senior members who were aware of bin Laden's house arrest in Iran for 10 years following Tora Bora. This was arranged by John Brennan. This is why Gary Bernson was not allowed to kill Osama bin Laden in Tora Bora when he was only a few hundred yards away.
A lot of that checks out. After the Church Commission, the Safari Club was created, and that's where BCCI came into play. Because this Safari Club, there wasn't alternate CIA. It was the covert funding of stuff because all eyes were on CIA. After the Church Commission found that, we've got CIA guys bringing us the news. So, obviously we couldn't stop with the CIA guys bringing us the news, but we had to
still bringing us the news.
We had to still bring us the news, but we had to change the money flow. So BCCI, which we've talked about that in the isn't it The Internationalist? Isn't that the movie, the story of the BCCI with Clive Owens? I think
that's kind of a combined story of various banking interests.
That's right, but if you go look at
movie, by the way,
BCCI. It was just a huge scandal, and billions of dollars were being run through it for all kinds of shenanigans. So here he is again saying, look, it was obvious bin Laden was being kept hostage in Iran, and no one really wanted to hear about it. He did give testimony the week before Osama bin Laden was killed. Why this guy is still alive is a mystery, of course. But now he'll go into what he understands happened at the Abbottabad. And as an aside note, we learned very specifically it's pronounced Abbottabad.
Yeah.
As in, Abbott and Costello.
Right.
And this was pointed out to us ad nauseum because everyone, including the news, was saying Abbottabad.
Abbottabad.
Abbottabad. But it's Abbottabad. But this guy uses the Abbottabad. So that, to me, was somewhat discrediting, but I'll let him slide. Let's listen.
Yes, there you go.
Let's listen to it.
When they went in there, trusting the Iranians had bin Laden there waiting for them, SEAL Team 6, your son...
He was retired at that time.
Yes, but the SEAL Team 6, they killed Osama bin Laden's double.
Hold on a second. Can you stop?
Yeah.
Because we talk about milieu. This guy sounds like John Brennan.
Oh, totally. Stick with it.
He was retired at that time.
Yes, but the SEAL Team 6, they killed Osama bin Laden's double.
How do we know that?
One of the wives went running towards them before he shot him and said, "Don't shoot, he's a double." I don't know the language she used. And then if you read Cy Hirsch's book, he explains that they threw the body parts over the Hindu Kush Mountains They didn't even save them like they saved the sons of Saddam Hussein in a refrigerated tent, well preserved and with makeup, just to prove that the wicked witch was dead. They saved the sons of Saddam Hussein, but they did not save the corpse of Osama bin Laden because it was his double, and it could not handle the scrutiny of DNA testing on the ship.
And I didn't clip it, but he says that they never threw him into the ocean, certainly not under the guise of that's a proper Muslim burial. He said, no way, because your feet have to point towards Mecca, and you're swirling around in the water. He says, no way. He says the SEALs recognized they had the wrong guy and dumped him out over the mountains. It's like, get that out of here. That's not the right guy. So they tossed a bag of bones overboard. But let's just presume this is all taking place as true. And the wrong guy is killed. Obama spikes the ball. We got him. We killed him. And Iran comes around and says, oh, really?
The communication from Iran to Obama was, hey, we got your neck in a noose. Give us all this money. $152 billion, $2 billion on an airplane pallet was paid out for the secrets I wish to reveal now and to the president under the terms of misprision and treason. That is to say, this is a secret. These are secrets worth $152 billion paid by President Obama. And Vice President Biden paid with the blood of SEAL Team 6 when he had them killed.
This is the part I like. Because that is an explanation I've not yet heard for the pallets of cash given to Iran.
I like it.
I like it a lot. And it's totally possible that, Osama bin Laden was still dead in 2003. Iran can just say, hey, man, you don't want us to come out and shit? Because I'm sure they have a body double in case the guy wasn't dead. And they say, we're going to make you look like a fool, Obama. So we want $152 billion. We want $1.5 billion in cash. And we want our Iran nuclear deal. Totally plausible.
Now, we should mention that the 152, whatever that big number is, was actually Iranian assets.
It was their money, yeah. It was their money.
So it's their money. So it's not as though that Obama's throwing away the American taxpayers' dollars.
Well, except for the billion
cash
and a half.
money.
Yeah.
The cash money, I'm not sure where that came.
It's probably someone's drug money. How else do you get it?
Could be.
And so then, now here's the part that I find somewhat sketch. Although I do remember sketch. Yeah, it's how we talk. I'm simping for you. It's sketch. I'm talking like the kids. I'm keeping it 100, bro. Now this is the part that I don't think it doesn't hold water. And this is from he's going to refer to a famous speech Biden did at the Atlantic Council, where he came in as the hero. Oh my God, it's sickening to watch. Actually, how Joe's like, because he had killed Osama bin Laden. Joe actually himself had gone down and gouged the guy's eye out,
knifed him,
right? Yeah, cut his head off all by himself. And in this speech, I'll play this clip and then we'll talk about it.
Oh, and I've got a question for you. So that means that SEAL Team 6 was shot down on purpose after the trophy kill to ensure that no dead man can tell no tales.
You were correct. So that President Obama paid bribery of $152 million. Vice President Biden paid with the blood of SEAL Team 6. He spent their blood like currency.
And the reasoning behind that is that during that speech, and actually on YouTube or anywhere I could find it, the video of him spiking the ball and saying, the SEALs went in there, SEAL Team 6 the audio is actually dropped out, a little garbled. I couldn't find an original. Doesn't really matter. I don't think he said SEAL Team 6. I think he said the SEALs, a SEAL team. And that apparently was the reason why a target was put on on the back of every SEAL Team 6 member. And then, the guy goes on to explain how they were put on in a Chinook helicopter, going to a place that was very hard to land. They shouldn't have landed. And then to make the whole story complete. And this is what I like about the theory. If you recall, the Chinook, the twin rotor-bladed helicopter, the big one, with like a flying school bus, really, filled with SEAL Team 6, was shot down by an RPG. And at the crash site, they found the RPG had the serial number it was a U.S. RPG, which was related to the weapons in Benghazi. You see how it all starts to tie together?
I like the Benghazi angle.
Yeah. And so that's why they had, and that was Hillary Clinton's moving the weapons down to the Syrian rebels for her own jollies or whatever. And they had to try and stop it because now the news was getting out. And of course, this will never be resolved, but I did want to just bring those clips in because a lot of people were talking about it, and might as well document it because we'll never hear about it.
Well, including Trump, apparently, who got blocked from Twitter for retweeting something.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
The jig is up.
Yeah, the jig is up. Oh yeah, looks to me like they're running scared.
Well, they're not running scared, but they're starting to produce more of these people. I wanted one of these clips for the last show, but I'm going to play this one. This is a new woman. This one just came out, and you never know if these are actors, but I don't think actors really necessarily, especially if they're professionals, want to ruin their vocal cords by screaming.
Okay.
And this is the latest one, showed up on Twitter. This is a psycho.
Psycho. Oh, I see the psycho. Okay. Here we go.
I'm terrified. Listen to me, Republicans, listen!
Oh, boy.
You are the people in history they warned us about! They warned us about people like you! Pay attention! We're losing our democracy! Wake up! Wake up!
Calm down. That was
this is the Keith Olbermann thing going on here. These people are nuts. Somebody had prefaced this clip with, "Wouldn't you like to see Trump win so we can get 4 more years of this?" And I had to think to myself, I said, yeah, it's very entertaining.
It's dynamite. How could you not like it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny. That's too funny.
I found an offbeat clip that you might be interested in. Because there's just a term, I never knew this. These are 2 clips. This is a 2-parter, if you don't mind playing. This is about the crisis that's going on in Greece with all the migrants. Another thing that the mainstream media is
why
not
talk
going
about
to cover.
that? No, don't talk about that.
No. Not going to talk about it. But the first of this is the report from Lesbos, which is the island.
Yeah.
And then I have report from Les key fact. But play the first report from Lesbo, and then to follow up with the other one.
Her parents say they go to Europe in hope of safety and a better life. But what they found was hunger, thirst, and homelessness.
Okay, stop. Stop this. I want to kind of get a little background on this clip. So they're showing some migrants, and they're from Africa. They're black Africans, and they're from the Congo, a lot of them. And if you listen to what this guy says, at first time I clipped it, mainly for the second part of the clip, because there's something funny in there. But I clipped it, and then I listened to it, and I listened to it again. And obviously, somebody in Africa or wherever they're sending these migrants from are giving these guys a bunch of bull crap about what to expect.
Oh, yeah. So no longer...
Yeah, go there, and here's what's going to happen. And if you listen to the guy, they're going to bring the guy on, and he's going to...
Wait, did they tell him, go to Lesbos, it's filled with hot lesbians?
No, it was mostly about Europe. But if you listen to this guy, it's really frightening what he thinks should have happened.
Her parents...
because he expected it. He had to obviously expect it to say the words he's going to say. Well, start the clip from the beginning, please.
Her parents say they go to Europe in hope of safety and a better life. But what they found was hunger, thirst, and homelessness.
I'm so disappointed because the European Union could have helped us after all this time. It's been 4 days. No one is taking care of us. What are they thinking? How can they abandon us? The European Union, too. I don't know what they're doing.
Days after the fire in the Moria refugee camp, chaos reigns on the island of Lesbos. Families like the Malays are left to fend for themselves. Thousands of refugees are camping on the hot asphalt. The Greek government promises help, but it has yet to be seen. Scenes like these show just how great the desperation is. When the first deliveries of water finally arrived, there were riots and some refugees were injured. We do what we can, the governor of the island explains. But he points out that the fire was a catastrophe with a message. Lesbos has been left with a huge numbers of refugees for too long. Now he hopes things will change.
For lesbian people and for myself also, it was in a tragic way. It was a good evolution because the camp of Moria was something that had to close.
Lesbian people.
And myself, he said.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought that was interesting that the people that live on the island of Lesbos are called lesbians. Isn't that interesting?
No. That is an actual... yes, you're right, but that is an actual destination for gays and lesbians. They love partying in Lesbos. They used to love partying in Lesbos because it's completely...
Well, not anymore.
No.
But if you listen to that black guy, he says, I don't know, we've been here 3 days, and where's all this help?
Where's the help?
That we were promised. What are they thinking? I think the guy was buffaloed.
Of course.
Yeah, well, duh. So this is the second part of this clip also has kind of a illogic in it that is fascinating.
Things happened. There were thefts, and the refugees burned the olive trees for firewood. Then, public opinion changed.
Mm-hmm.
So they come in there, start burning olive trees. You don't burn olive trees anywhere in the world.
It's a big no-no.
That is a major, and so all of a sudden public opinion changed because they started robbing the place and burning olive trees. And you burn an olive tree in any country that has olive trees and relies on olives for a part of their entire
Don't olive
cuisine.
Trees last for 1,000 years or
they
something?
They last thousands of years.
Yeah, they're crazy.
And many of them are probably 1,000 years old that they burned.
Yeah. That'll change opinion.
Oh, fast. Now, there was another clip that I thought had something.
We should probably take a break unless you want to do your next clip.
No, let me put that off because I don't even know what clip it is.
Okay. I'll tell you what. Let's do some Beatles.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, oh, No Agenda.
And we do have some people to thank for show 1287 as we approach show 1300 and the 13th anniversary.
Boom!
Top of the list is Christina Thomas in Drums, Pennsylvania.
Her dad
got a birthday call.
Dad, Steven, turned 60 on the 18th. He's the one that got her into the show in the first place, even though he's still a douchebag, and he's on the list, and she still does love him, despite that. Happy birthday, old man, she says.
The Polis Babcia from Bellefonte, Pennsylvania, $165. She sent a nice card. After getting to the... Let's see what it say. Hit in the mouth by my son, Matt, I realized I was blessed to listen to the show. Please accept this 165. I'm 65 years old, and I hope you realize how much you are needed. And she says, yes, I still make pierogies by hand.
She makes what by hand?
Pierogies.
What's that?
Or pierogi.
Oh, a Polish pierogi.
It's a little bitty dumpling. You know, every culture has them.
Yum.
Every culture makes them, and they all, I hate to say this, They all suck. Just a dough ball with some meat.
John at Dvorak.org.
They do.
Yes. Okay.
We were in England. We went to supposedly the best. They make these things that are called pasties or pasties or something. This is a pierogi. And, oh my God. It's just inedible. Sir J.D. Barron of Silicon Valley, $133.70.
Oh, elite. It's elite donation.
It's elite donation.
Elite donation.
Yeah, we got to put that on the list. Jeffrey Gathman in Crystal Lake, Illinois, 133. Michael Small, 123.58. Aaron Farrell in Wadsworth, Illinois, 111.11. Jonathan Bell, 111.11. He's in Caulfield, Victoria, Australia. Free Hollow Books, hey.
Yeah.
Summerfield, North Carolina.
That's
with $101.
That's Sir Jimmy on behalf of the Winston-Salem Meetup at Jugheads, and they've got a meetup report for in a moment.
Nice. Sir Proteus, Newark, Delaware, 100. Rory Semmelroth in Manchester, Tennessee, 8008.
And apparently the title Rory's Dad hit home, it being Rory. So Rory decided to donate, and I guess we're going to give an F cancer. His sister passed in 2014. So he says, it's October. Get them 8008s checked, ladies. Good advice.
Sir Andrew Alexander Scholzberger, 6969. Nicholas Brownstead in Chicago, 6969. Colin McCormick in Raheny, Dublin, Ireland.
Hello.
Hey, Ireland, 6669. Sir Kevin McLaughlin, Duke of Luna, lover of America and boobs.
With a small boob donation.
Small boob, 6006 in North Carolina. Locust. Buchanan Real Estate, 5518. Daniel Mariano.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Something got missed here. The spreadsheet, would just make sure we get this. This is happy anniversary from Sir Buck of 2112 to my beautiful, caring, talented, pretty lady, we call her Smoking Hot, Dame Jennifer of Animated No Agenda. It's been a wonderful 17 years, Sunday, October 18th. Hard to believe, but we did get married on the day we had our first date. Strange how things just come together. May Jennifer continue to smile and make people happy. I'm wishing her the best and hoping for another very happy, wonderful 17 plus years. How beautiful is that?
They got married on their first date only in the South.
It's nice. That's a nice thing of him to do. And happy anniversary. And they never had a fight.
Never. Daniel Mariano, 5510. Dean Roker, 5510. Sir Christopher Kessler in Marshfield, Wisconsin, 5510. Dame Knight in Edmonds, Washington, 5150. Joseph Waltzer, 51. We got
his brother's birthday, Jordan, 37
nice.
On the 18th. Yep, today.
And the following people are $50 donors, name and location, if applicable. David Shalona in Madisonville, Louisiana. Christopher Muller in Cedar Park, Texas. John Camp in Antlers, Oklahoma. Just old AZ. Parts unknown. Jessica Young, Yuba City. Marie LaBruyere, I'm guessing, in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Sir Scott Lavender in Montgomery, Texas. Craig Zarzicki, I'm guessing, in Saratoga Springs, New York. Stephen Crummy in El Cajon, California. Andrew Gusek in Greensboro, North Carolina. And last but not least, Sir Spud the Mighty in Marietta, Georgia. I want to thank all these folks for being producers for show 1287. And we want to thank everyone that comes later or that came in with lesser amounts of money.
And those lesser are usually for anonymity, under $50. No notes are read or names. And also many people on our sustaining donations. These are recurring subscriptions from all different kinds of levels. You can find out more information at
Dvorak.org/NA.
And as promised,
you've got karma.
and special Special thanks to Eric the Shill for pulling it all together. Despite windstorms and machines being down, I think we've got everything. Birthdays for today. Stephen Booth turned 60. Christina Thomas says happy birthday to her stepdad, Stephen, 60 today as well. Oh, that's twice in a row. Joseph Walter, happy birthday to his brother, Jordan Walter, 37 today. And Heidi Schreiber says happy birthday to her smoking hot husband, Paul. He'll be celebrating on October 20th. Happy birthday for everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. And we have Sir Stephen Booth about to be knighted and Lane Rouse. So, 2 on deck.
Here you go.
Nice. All right, as I said, Lane Rao, Stephen Booth, up here. Both of you, gentlemen, you qualify, thanks to the donation amount in $1,000 or more, for an official seat at the No Agenda Roundtable, and I am therefore very proud to pronounce-ticate thee as Sir Lane Rao, Defenders of the Nearest Point, and Sir Mount. For you, gentlemen, we have Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. By special request, fish and chips washed down with a pint of mild and red salmon and Milwaukee Best. Along with that, sparkling cider and escorts, ginger ale and gerbils, Rubenesque, women and rosé, geishas and sake, vodka and vanilla. And, of course, we always have our mutton and meat. Head over to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric the Shill will get on the stick right away and make sure that you get your night ring, beautiful signet ring, and your sealing wax, and your certificate as soon as possible off to you. And thank you for supporting the best podcast in the universe. Yeah. Like a party. A couple took place. I have some meeting reports. First from the Zurich Sanity Meetup. For those who are the uninitiated, the No Agenda Meetups take place everywhere in the world. It seems almost every single day of the week. NoAgendaMeetups.com is where you can find the info. Hey, Adam John, we tried to record some audio greeting, but the sound quality was so abhorrent that the written form is better. This time, 4 dudes found their way to the meetup. Sadly, no dudettes. But we were talking freely and using our shrunken amygdalas. Present were newcomer Paul from Ireland, who has found love with a Swiss woman, Sir Wilezo, a guy who wants to stay anonymous, and the organizer, Sir Swiss Senna. We have had bigger events in the past, but the quality of the attendance is always the deciding factor. Anyways, it was a nice evening with beers, tea, and some tasty burgers to round up the meetup. The next event in Zurich will be in the spring of 2021 in the morning from Gitmo Nation Fondue. Thank you very much. And we also have a meetup report from the Winston-Salem Meetup.
Hello, John and Adam. This is Sir William at the Winston-Salem Meetup. Just hanging out here with some knights, dames, producers, maskholes.
This is Sir Jimmy, the Hollow Book King, and it's like a party again.
This is Brandon here in Winston. I just want to say, Zishan Woo!
And this is Deborah from Pittsburgh, and I want to say, Adam, it's Mises Institute.
Hi, this is Rich, North Carolina, in the morning. Love you guys. Love your work. Thank you.
In the morning.
I'm actually surprised you didn't catch that when I said Mises. It has to be Mises. Did you even know it was Mises?
Yeah, I knew. I don't know why I didn't catch it. It's the same thing with it. I'll tell you why. You said it right. You said Mises.
I did?
Yeah, this is the Mandela effect.
Hey, what's wrong with you? I said Mises. I don't know what everybody else is thinking. It's crazy how that works.
That's why I didn't catch it.
John, this is my new go-to. I'm going to try it with Tina. I didn't tell you that? Oh, Mandela effect. It's crazy. I'm saying. Hey, everybody, try that out with your spouse. It works great. Here's a list of meetups taken right from noagendameetups.com. We have the Austin No Agenda Liberty Barbecue Meetup at 1 o'clock, already underway here in Austin. Also today, the Local One Lunch in Plymouth, so that's also underway. Now, for Monday, the Eric the Shill, his back office listening tour stops off in Carson City, Nevada. Go see the kids. The kids are great. You'll like Dee and you'll like Eric, and with those guys around, it's always like a party. Wednesday, the 22nd, Norristown, Pennsylvania, a Jonamo debate watch party. Isn't the debate Thursday?
Yes, the debate is Thursday.
Okay, well, they're going to have a different debate watch. I don't know what debate they're watching. It'll be fun. The 23rd, that is the Thursday show day, Colorado Springs Local 719 at 6 o'clock Mountain Time. And also Thursday, a virtual meetup, which will be, that's one of those Jitsi things, I guess. See noagendameetups.com for more information. And then coming up, the 24th of October in Oregon, California, the 31st in Long Beach, 31st Kansas City, Missouri, November 1st in Philadelphia, November 3rd, another virtual election meetup on, of course, that is election day. On the 4th, St. Pete's Beach, Florida, the 5th, Guy Fawkes Coffee Stroll and Troll in Quebec, Boston, Massachusetts on the 7th, Dallas, Texas on the 7th, Inland Empire, California on the 10th, and November 14th, the Catskill Mountain Meetup. That is noagendameetups.com is where you can find a cool place to hang out with people who are just like you, amygdala shrunken, no triggering, like a beer, maybe just a Coca-Cola or a soda, but you'll have a great conversation. No one gets pissed off. It's fantastic. And if you can't find one near you, just go ahead and start one. noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you want to go hang out with all the nights and days. You want to be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You want to be where everybody feels the same.
Like a party. It's like a party. It's like a party. Right.
So I have...
Wait, first. End of show, ISO?
Well, I have the Morning Toast one, which was fire.
The Morning Toast one?
Yeah, you played it like...
Oh, right. Let me just hear it again. Yeah, I think we liked that one, didn't we?
Fire.
No, that's fire. That's the one?
Yeah, that's all I got.
No, that sucks.
You got better?
Well, better than that. It seems like much. Even the Biden shoot him in the leg is better than that, don't you think?
Well, I don't have the ISO.
I do.
Oh, yeah, that's too long.
No, I have the ISO. Well, I have this one.
Hui, mine,
I got that.
It's too echoey.
Too echoey. Okay, hold on a second. Where's my Biden? I got this one from Biden.
Don't jump, Cedric. You look like you're way up there.
That's too long. This is a problem. Shoot him in the leg.
Why don't you just play the whole Psycho clip?
You shoot him in the leg.
Come on, that's good. Shoot him in the leg is good.
No, I don't like it, but you can. It's your choice.
Well, you want to do the whole
fire was good.
If the beginning was on it, but you clipped the beginning off of fire. Did you not hear it? Here. Fire. It's not quite. Listen to me. Well, I want consensus.
I'm not going to give it to you. I like fire.
Okay, well, I like...
You shoot him in the leg.
I want to shoot him in the leg. Fire is not good.
Let's do a combo then. Go shoot him in the leg, fire.
Okay. let me see.
It actually has some meaning, because then instead of referring to like quality, it refers to actually firing a gun.
You know what this is? This is how the Democratic Party will rule when they get into the White House. Just like this. We can't have a decision. No. We're just going to... we don't want anyone angry about not having the right ISO.
You shoot him in the leg.
Fire.
Okay, good. We'll do that. Got it.
That's the way they operate.
I hear you.
So I got these two clips from... and this is not, I'd call it cheery clips, but the interesting... See if you can catch the kind of logical inconsistency here. This is the apparently there's a horrible rape thing going on in Bangladesh.
Oh.
They're just raping everybody.
Oh.
And they're covering it. Deutsche Welle is covering it pretty well. This is Bangladesh rape, and then you have to play part 2.
Now, according to one Bangladeshi human rights group, over 900 women and girls have been raped there in the first 9 months of this year alone. Huge protests have taken place in a string of cities, triggered by the circulation of a video showing another attack on a woman in the south of the country. Brian Quinn has more.
In Dhaka, an outpouring of anger continuing to rage. Weeks after the sexual assault of a woman by a gang of men was shared widely on social media.
I stand here so that I will not become the next woman to be the victim of rape, the next victim of violence.
The protests are unprecedented both for their persistence and for their largely female leadership in the highly conservative Muslim-majority country, as Bangladesh struggles to come to terms with a growing problem. According to one NGO, more than 900 women and girls were raped in the first 9 months of 2020 alone, with gang rapes accounting for more than 200 of those incidents. Those figures are likely a significant underestimation, as they represent only reported cases.
I could not have asked for a more upbeat report to end the show with.
And then it went on and discussed the fact that less than 1% of these cases are prosecuted. Less than 1%.
Wow.
So let's play part 2 of this clip and tell me if you can spot the kind of logical inconsistency here.
Punishment is rare. Bangladesh's conviction rate for rape cases is less than 1%. In a 2013 UN survey, 95% of urban Bangladeshi men who admitted committing rape reported facing 0 consequences.
And what happened to the missing 4%? Is that what you're looking for?
No.
Oh, okay.
Rights groups blame a culture of impunity and a slow-moving legal system that shifts blame to the victim, while suspects are often protected by the powerful based on political affiliations.
There's often violence against women. Women, even children, are victims of rape. But the culprits are not punished, and now we want justice.
The public blowback has forced the government to react, with the cabinet of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina approving the death penalty for rape cases as of October 13th. Critics say the measure could actually decrease the conviction rate, and that the government should instead focus on enforcement as well as passing long-promised sexual harassment and witness protection laws.
Where's the Me Too ladies in all this?
So they want to now just, this is the classic, well, if we're going to do anything, let's make it a death penalty.
Well, of course.
And so the complainers, they say, no, we can't do a death penalty because it's going to lower the conviction rate.
Yeah.
The conviction rate is less than 1%. What kind of a counter argument is that?
Where's the Me Too ladies? I don't understand. I guess brown women don't matter.
Hey, this was not reported anywhere except on the No Agenda show in Deutsche Welle. And Deutsche Welle is doing it because China would like to make sure that people know that the rapists are all in Bangladesh and India. Their main competitors. Anyway, so I just thought it was amusing that these guys would install the death penalty. And someone would say that it's going to lower an already non-existent conviction.
All right.
So I thought it was a humorous clip.
No, it is. It is actually. Brown women don't matter. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so we see each other on Thursday, and plenty of room for some more bombshells to drop. Let's see what kind of slime Bannon can bring to us, because he's behind it.
He hasn't done a very good job of getting this into the mainstream, that's for sure.
Well, let's see. We'll see what happens. After all, it is Russia. I am coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State, FEMA region number 6 on the governmental maps, which will be important one of these days. You just watch. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where this heat wave continues, and it's annoying. It's hot. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Thursday. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA for your value for value. Coming up, we got Jesse Coy Nelson, and I'm going to play some Rexo Quozo again as our end of show. Grumpy Old Ben's next on NoAgendaStream.com. Until Thursday, adios, mofos, and such.
annoying that before I just avoided. Pray to God nothing happened, it was actually important. And then some time ago I found No Agenda Nation, thinking this is so amazing. It's cured my complacence, knowing someone feels the same as me. This media is so shameless. Hold up, they got meetup, sign me up. I'm invading the space where I can think freely and don't need to be adjacent to a political party, and I don't need to explain it.
Agenda Meetups, it's like a body.
In the morning, all the ships I see, boots on the ground, feet in the air, sun's in the water, all of the days that are nice out there. Our formula is this: we go out, we hit people in the mouth. Success is limited, but that's how we teaching the people how to think for themselves in a world of mind control slaves. It's such an uphill battle, it's getting harder each day. I wear this 1911 right on my hip, and I pray that I don't have to use it, but I will if it goes that way. We in a nation of noodles, the un-United States, land of the free, where they forcing you to hide your face.
Telling me my fragility's exactly what is killing me. Oh, silly me, I should've checked my energy at the door with my coat, but nope, instead I'm in these easy swear, and I might vote for John, Adam, and Mo.
I say it again, what do you have to lose?
I don't want world dominance, a global governance, or a whole lot of promises we know you can't be honest with, and tell me it's just politics. Man, I'm so off of being governed by incompetence.
What happened to the common sense?
Shut up, slave!
In this PC culture, common sense cannot exist. I've forgotten it's become a superpower, synonymous with consciousness, and no one mentions what the real problem is. You fake woke folks ain't really woke, you sleepwalking. The leader they chose in a basement, sleep talking, while the pandemic causes irreversible damages. The shepherds pull the strings to keep the sheep locked in.
You say shepherd, I'm saying Illuminati, boulating full throttle, but so am I. They had to pop me to stop me in this mixture of dragon energy and coffee, even if they off me. That's the point in A's apostia. Free thinking people that believe in reason. See, there's a fine line between freedom and just being heathens. Is this the Wild West or the Final Frontier? Super Predator podcast, they probably guns here. See, I'm becoming more pop than Hove, cause I find myself wondering what would Malcolm tell Joe, wondering when the renegades started shilling for the system. When was it M&J started hitting for the Clintons? Guess they always been pawns since chess was a game, trying to wash away them wrongs with the checks that they made. Paychecks to sell out, who cares? It invests just the same, so it's back to John, Adam, and Mo. Take the stress out my brain. Dr. Billy, you gon' have to kill me before you make a Billy.
When did you first realize what you sounded like?
When I was 6 years old, Mark Redmer sold me his reel-to-reel tape recorder. It was a miniature one. $5 I had to save for it for a long time. And he only knew how to make it work, so I had to keep going back to him. And then he would typically wind up sitting on my head. So it's all very traumatic. But that's when I heard it the first time, and I remember, holy crap, I sound like a girl.
I just like walking around. I like the streets.
And I worked all my life to not sound like a girl. I never went through puberty where my voice dropped. I just forced it from a young age.
Well, that's the weirdest story you've ever told on the show.
Oh. It's why weird? It's true.
I don't remember when. I think I had a tape recorder too when I was a kid, and it wasn't traumatic. I was old enough. I think my voice was already changing, and I didn't think much about it one way or the other. And the funny thing is, I think if I hear a recording of myself, and I'm hearing myself as I talk, and you do too, we all do. I'm hearing my own voice. I'm not hearing some other voice. I'm hearing exactly what I sound like. To me, it's exactly what I sound like.
Reminder that portions of today's program have been removed from the bicuspid of a sperm whale.
Yeah, hey everybody. I'm talking like this.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
You shoot him in the leg.
Fire.
Podcast, information, and entertainment. You're listening to the No Agenda Stream.
You make it look easy, but we know it takes a lot of time in preparation for each show.
To be honest, yeah, we do make it look easy.
That's the hardest part.
Podcast around the clock. This is the No Agenda stream.
This contains misinformation.
Grumpy old beds! Hello and welcome to episode 102 of Grumpy Old Bens for Friday, October 16th, 2020. I am Darren O'Neill coming to you live from a bunker deep in the heart of Middle America, just outside of Chirac, where our intro music is different, but our attitudes, unfortunately, are still the same.
And from America's left coast, where we feed the trolls because it entertains us. I'm Ryan Bemrose.
Well, yeah, otherwise they'd starve too, and nobody wants that. But Fletcher of the Hug Story podcast, Sir John Fletcher of No Agenda fame, came up with that intro for us. I mean, he was afraid people were too triggered by our old intro.
Well, they should be.
For Grumpy Old Bens. And he sent me the music, and I'm like, you know what I can do? I can still add a little bit of modem noise at the beginning and then add a little bit of the printer at the end. And it's kind of mixing the old with the new. But I really dig it. It's a very cool sound. I mean, the guy's very talented.
Highlight, the scream is amazing. The music is a lot less triggering. The modem noise is, I guess, our trademark, so we have to put up with it. The whole thing is about 25 seconds too long.
You want it like 5 seconds in total length?
You're going to make me take a fucking bathroom break while you're playing the opening music.
It's 40 seconds. That's all. So you're saying 25 seconds too long. You want it to be 15 seconds, like boom, 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 in and out.
Well, I want our fucking show to start without driving people away while they all go off and get a beer or something.
No, they're supposed to go get a beer, they get a coffee, whatever it is, get ready to relax, get ready to hear some Bem rants. And what we have is,
I always promise not to disagree with you on the podcasting aspect because you're the professional podcaster, but that's stupid.
And I had to sweeten the yell a little bit. I had to lengthen it a little. Fletcher came in a little short, but that's okay because you have the magic of audio and nobody would even know that I extended the bends a little bit.
I don't think anyone's ever accused Fletcher of being short.
That's totally up to him and the men, women, or animals that he's dating.
So anyways, yeah. I don't know if you want to get into it, but apparently we've all got our own personal trolls that we go after.
I mean, I don't really think it's a personal troll. I mean, they come and go. They're kind of like, It's not like, it's a pet that you keep around or anything. It's just something that pops in.
Oh, mine is.
And pops out. Oh, you mean me?
No, my personal troll was CSB.
Oh, really? He's still going at you?
No, we made it. He was, I don't know. CSB was giving me shit. Like, well, Bemrose is not interesting because he, thinks that, he worked at Microsoft and you didn't. So screw you. And I'm like, what? If you've ever listened to this show, you know that, working at Microsoft was a thing that I did and I have experience and you have to talk from your experience, but, I'm not lording that over anyone. Like their culture is fundamentally broken. So, yes. But, we made up on it at least until the next time that we annoy each other.
Right. You exfiltrated yourself from Microsoft for a reason.
Yes. I wouldn't use that word because it's very verbose, but yes, that's
okay. Sorry to be
using
yes, you left.
I pulled the ejection handle.
You felt that the culture around the company was a bit toxic.
A bit. Yeah.
That they were going down a lot of wrong roads. But that is the tech world today. That is the social media world today. And that's what happens. And I mean, the trolls, I don't know. I mean, I get them every now and then. I mean, the one day I went back and forth with Big Loaf and it was a weird one because we had always gotten along well before that. So this was just kind of maybe, everybody was having a bad day and everybody was being a little bitchy, myself included. And then it got resolved fairly quickly.
Not the one with Leongelm.
Yeah, I don't even know how to say the name. I wasn't even going to attempt how to.
It might be pronounced Lionhelm for all I know, but
that's what somebody had mentioned in the
I
troll
am
room.
insufficiently Nordic to be able to pronounce that, so it's Leongelm.
And it was just a case of in No Agenda Social, which is a much more sane version of Twitter for those who aren't on it, and it's mainly people from the No Agenda community, and you have a lot less of these kind of things going on. But he put himself into the CSB and Jeff and the little war that everybody had. I guess that's what they want to call it. When the dude that made all the bots, Jeff, stopped showing CSB stuff in the bots. And I said, well, that's not fair. And then Progo, who we just had on the other day, he said that's not fair. And Sir Spencer, who's co-hosted one of these shows with us, said, that's not fair. And a lot of people were like, dude, that's not fair. And this dude decided to take Jeff's side of it, which I still don't even understand what the point was, because he's like,
mortal sin.
Yes, I guess, and it's like, I just didn't really understand that. And then he started name calling, and then I blocked him, which was fine. I hadn't thought about it forever after that. And that was probably a month and a half ago or something like that.
Yeah. Well, this entire recent thing started with what was at least very clearly a joke to me.
Yes.
And I think a number of people who listen to Grumpy Old Men's thought it was a joke, but even Dvorak was taken in by this one.
Yes. And he called it a kerfuffle, which I thought was hilarious. And it's because of the way social media is consumed.
So you posted an image of, I don't know where you got it, but somebody had, I guess, photographed a Washington state ballot.
Yes.
Which had the governor and lieutenant governor spots. And in the image, you filled out Jay Inslee on the top, and then for governor, and then for lieutenant governor, you wrote in Ryan Bemrose.
Yes.
And that is hilarious, because I guarantee there's going to be an assassination attempt on that ticket. And I don't know which direction it's going to go, but it would be, so I laughed, but some people didn't get the joke.
Yes.
Some people are so triggered by Inslee that they can't even laugh at him. And, try being more like me, where I get triggered by Inslee and I laugh at him.
Yes, it's the only sane way to be. And then Dvorak posted to that, like, oh, I've lost a lot of respect. Inslee's one of the worst. And it's like, it was a meme. I mean, it's my account clearly states outside of Chirac. And I would think by now he knows that
Washington State is outside of Chirac.
I guess it's just a little further than I think people would put. But hey, that was cool. But I understand people see things like that. They just have a reaction. They don't really look at the minutia. And you pointed out Poe's law, and it was absolutely true that if you're not clear when you're showing an extreme view for the purpose of comedy, if you're not totally and 100% clear, somebody is going to take it seriously. And then this dude, Lionhelm, whatever his name is, jump back in and start crap talking me. And I didn't know because I had him blocked. I wouldn't have known, except you, who never comment on any of this stuff. We're like, hey, did you see this thread? Somebody's really trashing you.
Well, let it never be known that I don't start shit for the purpose of comedy.
Right. So that I went and unblocked and then took a look, and I'm just like, dude, screw off, man. You're the one that was like, he was making comments like, oh, I would have expected him to vote for Inslee. And it's like, and then he tries to come off like I'm stupid. It's like, well, you're so stupid. You don't even know I don't live in Washington. And that's been very clear.
So from then on, the way it basically went was that this guy would post some meme image, which apparently he had a bottomless fucking well of them.
I mean,
then you would post just the words "fuck off" over and over again. And it was funny for like the first 30 or 40 posts. And then I'm sitting here going, okay, we're shutting off we're just closing the tab. We're not, because Jesus Christ, I came back several hours later and there were 60 fucking notifications in there because I happened to be tagged on every fucking one of these things. So that's why I bring it up, is I got to bust your balls about the fact that you do not know when to quit because it's not funny anymore.
No, you see, because here's the thing with comedy. It went from being funny to not being funny anymore because it was too much, to it then being so much that it became funny again. That's the beauty of comedy. And I seriously, because Jeff, who had also blocked me because I said, don't be mean to CSB. He's the guy that helped me with the bot that we have so I can press the one button to tweet and toot right before Grumpy Old Benz comes on the air. So I have the technology to do a bot. I was opening the window to just write a bot that anytime that dude sent me any message whatsoever, just to respond with fuck off for eternity, and I would never even have to see it, which I thought would be hilarious too. Didn't do that. And
all I'm saying is you want a good way to get me to block you.
Oh, wait, this is a possibility? This could be the exit strategy here.
You've been looking for one of those for a while. No,
you're 101 shows.
So I guess the big story in everything this week was the New York Post article on Biden.
Yeah.
But I don't care about that. I mean, okay, I'm just going to go with, first of all, kind of uncool to go after someone's family, even if they're running for president. I get that everybody thinks that it's valid, but okay.
Well, he's running for point here, though.
He's running for president. I'm just addressing the New York Post article right now.
Yes.
He is running for president. Therefore, it is assumed that he is corrupt. And if you want to show me stories about Joe Biden's corruption, I'm cool with that.
Well, this was.
Okay, getting the job. Yeah, okay. But do you want to describe what's going on, or do we even care?
I mean, the minutia of what the deal is with the Hunter Biden laptop and what information was on there as far as how that happened and all of that, no. But the bottom line, because everybody I think that's interested in that already knows what happened. But this wasn't about just Hunter Biden. There was things on the laptop which clearly pointed to Joe Biden being a part of it, which is the only reason I agree with you that this was relevant to the presidential election.
Yes. In fact, it was, because it demonstrates that Joe Biden is corrupt. And anybody who didn't already know that because he's running for president, I'm just saying you're not paying attention.
Right.
But although there was the delicious irony that he effectively did exactly the same thing that the House impeached Trump for back in January.
Right. Yeah.
Which was, election interference and quid pro quo in Ukraine and I don't know.
Right. Collusion going. And there's actually a video of him telling the story, saying, yeah, and I told them to get rid of this prosecutor. And then they did. It's like, dude, I mean, this, and the social media people are still like, no, it's a fake story. No, we can't have it. You can't post it. It's a fake story. There's no proof. It's like, I mean, we have video of Joe talking about it. How much more proof do you want? I mean,
I don't know. Maybe a signed confession.
Right. Okay. That should be the new bar. And that way nobody could ever post anything about Trump anymore, and nobody could post anything about Biden, and the world would be better.
Oh, well, the world would be better if mainstream news would shut the hell up. But the thing that turned this into a story that I actually care about on Grumpy Old Ben's was the Twitter censorship.
Yes.
And
they were not alone.
Went out. No, well, New York Post wasn't alone in posting the story, or?
No, I mean, Twitter wasn't alone in censoring. This was on Facebag, and this was, I mean, everywhere. It seemed.
Yeah, of course. All of the leftist social media was, by now we should realize that the moment one of them decides to take some kind of really sketchy move that shows off their bias, all the rest of them will jump on it immediately. We knew that when they started with when Apple banned Alex Jones 2 years ago.
Right.
And suddenly everybody else was like, well, if they're doing it, then so will we. And jumped on the bandwagon within 5 minutes.
Like, we could do that? Awesome.
Yeah. So, let's see. The timeline, as I understand it, is New York Post comes out with the account. A bunch of people start retweeting the article. Twitter decides that they want to do election interference. They banned the New York Post account. They started blocking all links to the article from the New York Post. Other key things that got banned, presumably for retweeting the same story. Kayleigh McEnany's personal account banned. The Team Trump official campaign account got banned. I mean, by the end of it, they were going so far as to block anybody who posted a link to the House Judiciary Committee's website.
Yes.
Because they had posted the story there.
Yes. It was the actual site for the for the House was coming up on Twitter as a malicious site. I think that's a little too far.
Well, Adam Curry thinks that was a little too far too. He was reporting this with glee right at the end of the broadcast yesterday when he's saying we're finally going to see some movement on Section 230.
Yeah.
And you know what? This morning we have Ajit Pai, the chairman of the FCC, sent out a notice that said we are going to start regulating social media.
Yeah, and there's two different ways of looking at these things. I mean, we have the knee-jerk reaction, including people like our buddy
I thought that was the only way that most people looked at things.
Including our buddy Sir Scandinavian in the troll room, who's like, well, it's simple. Don't sign up for Twitter. It's like, well, yeah, that's great for a person. But when the platform becomes the public square, more or less, you can't just hide your head in the sand and go, well, just don't sign up for any of these, because these things have great effects.
I mean, that is my advice to everybody listening.
Yes, but that's not going to happen. And with that said, you have to...
I can't be held responsible for your inability to follow my excellent advice.
Nobody wants to follow that advice. Nobody does. But you have to have some kind of ability to... and again, normally not for control, but what do you do when the systems that everybody is using, that is totally skewed in one direction? I mean, do you not think, the left wants to cry that election interference was bad. As you said, we went through 3 years of a, farce of an impeachment due to, Russia interfered in our elections. It's like, well, who's really interfering in our elections right now? Twitter, Facebook, and all the rest of the social medias. But why aren't they worried about that? Well, because they're interfering in a way that they like.
Well, that would be buying a campaign ad is interfering in the election. Depending on how widely you want to cast that net. I've got another story about Twitter and violating of Washington campaign laws. It's a very local thing, but
do you have a rant about that?
No, not really. So short version of that one is that Twitter very recently came to a settlement with Attorney General Sideshow Bob Ferguson of Washington State, and they have decided that they are going to pay $100,000 to the state for violating the campaign laws. Washington has a campaign finance law that requires all spending on campaigns to be publicly accessible or visible, so records of it. The idea being that if anybody buys ads for a campaign in the state, that you can inspect those ads and find out who's paying for it, et cetera. And Twitter has not kept any of these records. And according to the complaint, and these numbers are laughable for something the scale of Twitter, candidates in Washington State have reported paying over almost $195,000 to Twitter from 2012 until November 2019, when Twitter banned all political ads. And during that time, $200,000. That's a drop in the bucket for Twitter, but okay. So in order to resolve this complaint, they have agreed to pay $100,000 of it back to the state. So cost of doing business, they're not really disincentivized from doing this anyway.
No, not at all. And Twitter went down yesterday too. Do you think this had anything to do with this threat about Section 230? I know Twitter said they changed something, which I'm just kind of curious if they implemented something. Jack, for the first time in a while, seemed to be backtracking a little bit. This kind of seemed like a kid who, if your parents just keep saying, hey, don't make me come back there, don't make me turn this car around, that there's finally, the thing that your parents would say when you knew they were serious, and then you would be like, oh, okay, no, I'll clean my room. That's kind of Jack's reaction yesterday. Was like, oh, wait, no, we didn't mean to do that.
My favorite comment was I didn't record who said this, but one of the Senate Republicans saying, "See you soon, Jack," because they are totally going to be subpoenaing him.
Now, what is your take on the whole 230? Do you think that the United States government should have any control over these social media giants because of the fact that these are worldwide platforms? So,
well, okay. First of all, Section 230, which is called that because it is actually the 230th section in an incredibly huge piece of generally bad legislation known as the Communication Decency Act of 1994, sometime in the 90s. It was signed by Bill Clinton, and Section 230 is one of the parts that was pulled out of it was actually pretty good. I think it's responsible for the whole internet as it is. What Section 230 does is it doesn't provide any criminal a complaint. It's not the basis for any kind of wrongdoing. It actually provides immunity from criminal and civil prosecution or torts for a provider that is completely neutral. And it is widely held as the reason why the modern internet can even exist, because before that, you couldn't have user-generated content on your platform. If you were YouTube or, going back to the 90s, what would that be? MySpace?
Well, yeah, AOL.
LiveJournal,
yeah.
AOL.
GeoCities? GeoCities.
Yeah. So this was about the time when the internet, the internet, which was probably the most democratizing thing that has ever been invented by man, that enables such freedom of expression as we have never known in human history. People were starting to bring forth the idea of, I can put up a site and all of my users can bring things to it. And people are creative. People, general people want to get out there and put their own stuff up, and user generated content was taking off like a wildfire. The other thing that was taking off like a wildfire back in the 90s when it was, somebody would post something inflammatory or, something that, or just porn or something, which got, the Vice President Gore's wife all in a tizzy. And people would immediately sue the platform, and platforms were being sued out of existence because somebody posted something. And if you're hosting a BBS or a forum or something, and someone comes in and posts, Trump is racist, then, well, okay, if they posted, all lives matter, right, your entire platform could get shut down if not for Section 230 because somebody posted something hateful. And so this was enabled to say, if you are a neutral platform, then you are protected from liability, and anybody who has issue with the porn that was posted, they have to go after the person who posted it, and they can't go after the platform.
Right. Well, this was also good, not only just for the people that were doing things like bulletin boards and message boards, things like that, but anybody that wanted to be a web host. I mean, you know what, Amazon, how many different companies they host material for. It would all come down to, it's like, well, I don't own the server. I mean, the servers for Grumpy Old Ben's and Random Thoughts and all that are with a company called MDD Hosting that's out of Indiana. I mean, this is, we don't own that server. We rent that from somebody else. So this comes down to, they would be responsible for the content that we post. That doesn't make sense when you're renting out space to people on the internet. Did you hit the mute button? Do we have a Bemrose down? I think we caught him this time. He didn't quite understand how much time I was going to be talking for, I guess. Where's Ryan, everybody? Hey, Ryan went to the bathroom. He talked about that small bladder he has. It's okay. But with 230, I just don't know how you can have any control over any of the social media, because they can simply just move where they are headquartered, where they're located, unless you're going to start geofencing and blocking people from leaving the United States with their data. which I don't think we're quite getting to, which was the biggest issue even with the whole TikTok thing. How do you?
Well, if you recall, there was a
Welcome
fad.
back.
Oh yeah, things happen.
Yes.
Oh, if you recall, there was a fad back in the 90s where we didn't want to be able to export technology. The big thing was, if you recall, when anything that you intended to use internationally, you could not use more than 128-bit encryption.
Right. But how do you, I mean, when it comes down to this social media stuff, so say the United States, say the FCC comes down and says, well, what Twitter's doing right now, we think this violates Section 230. Why doesn't Twitter just say, well, you know what? We're moving out of the United States. We're now based in all of our servers are in another country. What can the United States do? They can, I guess, they can go all TikTok on them and say you're not allowed to use this service in the U.S. anymore. They said that, but that still hasn't happened. The United States, as far as I know, hasn't actively blocked their citizens from accessing any websites or services like that as of yet, correct?
As far as I know, WeChat is completely banned and TikTok has a couple more weeks before the ban takes effect.
So WeChat people can no longer use in the United States. This is the ISPs. Do they have to actively block this, or how does that work?
Specifically, we talked about this on a previous Grumpy Old Ben's. I understand that we don't pay attention to each other.
Well, I knew there was the threat. I didn't know they were actually enforcing this. I thought this was part of the TikTok.
There is no enforcement that says you on your personal phone cannot launch WeChat. But what there is and this was a Trump executive order. Take that with whatever force of law you decide it is. That ISPs and internet providers are not allowed to forward packets between WeChat apps and to the WeChat servers, which I guess means that they're supposed to be blocking. Practically speaking, I don't know if any of that blocking is happening, but I do know that if there's a complaint, that the Trump Justice Department will probably come out and say, this is a violation, and we'll start slamming ISPs and service providers. There's nothing in that particular complaint that affects, or that there's no action in that executive order that can be taken against individual people, just against service providers who facilitate access to these banned sites.
Yeah, so I don't know. It doesn't make much sense just looking at an article here on Reuters that said WeChat users will not face civil or criminal penalties, even if the United States bans the messaging app. So it's like, what's the point then?
Virtue signaling mostly.
Yes, and which means 0 point really whatsoever. Which I don't know. Do you really believe at this point that the FCC can have any effect on these social media companies at all?
Yes. And it has to do with the same reason that Twitter doesn't just get up and leave the US. It is, for the same reason why it's completely retarded when somebody says, if you don't like what these laws that the tyranny of the majority is doing, you can just leave. And it's that, where are they going to go? They're really, there's nowhere else in the world that has tort protections as effective as Section 230, that I'm aware of, and the troll room can fact check me and I'll ignore it. But the US is still one of the most free places in the world for trying to create a business and become big. If you go to Europe, you're going to have to deal with GDPR, for example, which is a draconian, and I don't think we've even started to see just how much that's going to stunt the EU tech startup industry. Any more than the EU regulations have already done that. Everywhere else you go in the world, there is going to be some kind of regulations or something that cause problems or at least make it really hard to start up something like Twitter. I'm not even saying that the regulations aren't better, but there are.